verse 12, in which we understood that Ved Vyas is now supposed to write the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he takes the name of the Lord and starts writing it. So today onwards, what we are going to do is learn the first story over there. Now we have to understand where this all started. All this has started when King Parikshit, who has been bitten by that black bird, snake bird it is called, and he is supposed to die. So he is a little bit, not little bit, he is very much in pain, because death is not so good to actually understand. We don't want to be dead. Right? We always want to live. Every human being wants to live. So, at that moment in time, he is performing a lot of yagyas, puja part. At that moment in time, a great sage passes from there. His name is Sukdev. Sukdev is the son of Vyasdev. So he is a young son of Vyas Muni. So he says, if you really want mukti, mukti means liberation. You don't want to have any trouble. You want to be in a peaceful state of mind, then you have to listen to God's stories. Right? There are stories of God which you have to listen to. Correct? So when you listen to the stories of God, you will develop devotion to God. And then you are going to be happy. So this is where we had ended. So today we will start from the next verse. We are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7 and verse number 13-14. So when the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destination, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimsen, the son of Dronacharya, Ashwatthama beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered them as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. Now here is the progression of the story. The story goes that the war is nearly coming to an end. Mahabharata is nearly coming to an end. How does this end? Naturally with the death of all those children of Dhritarashtra. Correct? Now when this was happening, Dhritarashtra's children were getting slaughtered in the battle of Kurukshetra. The last person, basically there was Duryodhan, who was supposed to be killed. Now the story goes that Duryodhan is dying over there. Bhim has killed him kind of, and when he is lying on his deathbed, his spine has been broken into 2. A man cannot survive like that, but he is there. And at that moment in time, Dronacharya's son is there. His name is Ashwatthama. Now Ashwatthama, to please his master, who is his master? Duryodhan is his master. So to please his master, naturally Duryodhan is dying over there. So to please his master, what does he do? He releases a Brahmastra which knocks off the head of the 5 children of Draupadi while they are asleep. And he comes and tells this to his best friend, or kind of a person whom he reveres so much, saying that, see, this is what I have done. But Duryodhan is very angry with him. He says, are you stupid? Those children were sleeping over there, and why is it that you have gone and done this kind of a thing? See, you cannot do this kind of a thing in war. Duryodhan is a righteous person over here when he says these words. See, when we say the righteous and the unrighteous person, you have to understand one thing very clearly. It is mentioned that people were killed in the battle of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destination. These words are very important. What is the deserved destination of Kauravas? It is the heaven. Kauravas are not going to hell anywhere. Please understand this. They were righteous warriors. People may not like this statement. They may say they were bad people and so on and so forth. No, they were righteous warriors and they died in the battlefield. And so they got heaven. There is a discrepancy here. So even on deathbed, can you imagine Duryodhan is telling to Ashwatthama, this is not a right thing which you have done. He says it's a heinous act. It's a very, very bad action that you have performed. You should not have done this kind of a thing. Now the 5 children of Draupadi are killed. Why were they killed? Because they looked exactly like their fathers. Alright? So Arjuna's son looked like Arjuna. Bhimsen's son looked like Bhimsen only. So this is the reason why the Ashwatthama is not aware that he is killing the sons. He thought he has killed the elder Pandavas. And now they are dead. Without realizing that he has done some wrong act over there of killing the wrong people, he is coming and gloating and telling his friend over there, I have done this action. And Duryodhana is very disappointed. He says this is not a good action that you have done. So let us move to the next verse now. Draupadi, the mother of 5 children of the Pandavas, after hearing of the massacre of her sons, began to cry in distress with eyes full of tears. Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus. Verse 16 says, O gentle lady, when I present you with the head of the Brahmana, after beheading him with arrows from my Gandiva bow, I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you. Then after burning your sons' bodies, you can take the bath, standing on his head. So here, Arjuna is very upset. His wife comes to know, Draupadi comes to know that the children are dead over there. And because they are dead, she is like any other mother. She is emotionally very imbalanced. She is upset about it. And she is crying away to glory like any other person. See, anything happening to your own children, are you not going to get upset? So that is what happens to her. And she is upset that this war was going on and her 5 kids are dead. And because the kids are dead, her husband, Arjuna, comes and consoles her and tells her, you don't have to cry, please. Calm down. I will take revenge for this action which somebody has done. Now this action is very, very heinous. It's not a good action. So I will use the best weapons that I have and I will bring that person's head. Now why is he saying the Brahmana over here? I will present you with the head of the Brahmana. The Brahmana is not supposed to kill. Please understand this. A Brahmana is not supposed to be doing these kind of an activities. A Brahmana is not supposed to go to war in the first place. They are supposed to desist from doing any kind of physical or mental activity where there is a lot of heinous action that is going on. They are supposed to be on the path of Sattva Guna. Whereas some Brahmana has killed the children. Now Brahmana also translates it into the knower of Brahma. Do you understand? He is a person who has knowledge about the scriptures, about the Vedas and the different Shastras and everything that is known to mankind. which is known by all these great people. See, an average human being has no knowledge about this kind of a thing. You will find that they have very little knowledge, whereas karma also is concerned. Now let us try to find out about yourself. How many things do you know about karma? Before you came to me, were you aware what karma is all about? There was no understanding of karma. There was no understanding that you are performing an action also. See, even a thinking action. If you are thinking bad about someone, that also constitutes a karma. Nobody understands this. They think that, oh, I have just thought about it. Doesn't mean anything. No. An action can be performed even by thinking. Think about it. If I am thinking a very bad thought about someone, is it not a heinous action? I am trying to disrobe a woman in my mind. Think about it like this. You may say, it is not an action. I have not performed an action. Am I doing something wrong there? Of course you are doing something wrong. Now suppose there is your neighbor's wife and you are trying to think like that about her. And you try telling the neighbor, this is what this man is doing. He is thinking about your wife like this. Is the neighbor going to get angry and upset also? Naturally. So don't you think it constitutes an action? So even thinking of something is an action. Please remember this. Just thinking about somebody, I am planning some action. I may not end up doing also. I may just plan. You know, people plan kidnaps and robberies and things like that. You may say it is not an action. I have not done any action. See, these are the edicts of Vedas and you are going against them. Let us say you are just throwing a wrapper of a chocolate out of the window. You know, children, how they do, or even adults, they will open one chocolate or something and they will just chuck the thing out of their window. I am asking you as a material worldly person, forget about action in karma and all that. Are you against it or are you for it? You are naturally going to say, how can you throw the thing out there? It's going to pollute the atmosphere, isn't it? If it is a plastic wrapper or a paper wrapper or whatever, is it not going to destroy the, ecological balance? That plastic paper can just cover a drain, one small drain. And there could be a flood because of that. Can you agree with this? Just flood happens for some reason. So these actions which look very innocuous, they don't look anything different. They don't look a big action. Now these kind of actions also constitute a sin or a karma. It may not appear to you. A few days ago, somebody told me that there is an app. And you you rent out clothes. You rent out clothes. Now, when a person is renting out clothes, has somebody worn it? Yes. And now it is coming to you. You will say it is thoroughly washed, everything is cleaned, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Clothes have been washed. And you're wearing the cleanest of the clothes. Okay, I will ask you. Tomorrow you take a contraceptive. Use it. Wash it. And then I give it to you for use. Will you use it? I'm asking you a question. Think about it. I am spitting in a handkerchief and then going to wash it and then give it to you. Wash it? No. Even dry clean it. Can you remove the thought out of your mind? When you go to drink or eat in a place and if you are given a glass, let us say you are asking for a glass of wine and the wine glass is given to you. Okay? And you are taking it near your mouth and you are drinking it, and after taking 2 sips, you see there is a faint lipstick mark over there. Will you drink that wine after that? No. Even if there is a hair in a burger, will you eat that burger? No. So then what makes you think that these rent-a-clothes and this and that is good enough for you, even after washing? So the same person was saying, we recycle water. The water is recycled from the toilets, it comes back again as a purified water. Very good. Drink it. Common sense will tell you, I will do the same. I will keep a glass of water and then I will say, do you know this is a toilet water which has been purified 100%. Will you drink it? An entire nation is drinking this kind of a water. When the thought itself is hurting you so much, even the thought that a karma is happening, just thinking that somebody is a bad woman, somebody is a good man, is it not thinking process? So wearing somebody else's clothes, will you wear the underwear of another person even if it is thoroughly washed and ironed and given to you? I am sorry, this is not the correct way of usage. The reason why we don't use those things is for that. The only person who is allowed, who can do something good about this, is the spiritual master. What he does is he purifies that garment. Do you have the purifying ability? I am sorry, you don't have it. See, do you understand this or don't you understand this? So anybody who is taking somebody else's garment, even if it is 100 times washed, it still carries the remnant of that person. It still carries that stigma associated with it. I want you to think of it. Somebody is murdered with a knife and the knife is cleaned very nicely and given to you and you are using it in the kitchen. It's thoroughly washed, dry cleaned, you can name, even acid wash is done to that knife. And then I am going to give it to you in the kitchen and say, oh, take this knife and cut your vegetables and everything. And you will cut the vegetables. Okay? And then what happens? Then I suddenly tell you, do you know this is the knife that was used for murdering 4 people? Will you eat that food after that? I want you to think about it. When you wear somebody else's clothes, you are carrying not only their aura but their DNA and everything, even if you wash it 1,000,000 times. Don't you remember Shakespeare? Huh? Doesn't he say, where that queen is washing her hands? No water can clean that. So then what makes you think that buying used clothes or doing this kind of a thing is good enough for you? Yes, there are poor people in this world. They don't understand. They have no choices. That is the reason why they are using them. But when they use them, it helps them as well as the other person because it becomes a donation. It becomes a charitable act. Charitable acts are good, but transactional acts lead to karma. When you are using rent-a-clothes, you are performing a karmic action. So a Brahmana is a person who has knowledge of all these things. Whereas you are a common man. Do you even understand what these actions are? It is only when you meet your spiritual master that you understand what these actions constitute. And that is the reason why I always tell people, don't use those clothes which are belonging to somebody else. Do not even give your clothes to somebody else. You can give them for recycling. You can give them for trashing or whatever, But it is not proper the other way. because it carries your entire, not only DNA, but all your karmic debt also in that garment. Think, when I say karmic debt, just imagine, in France, there were the kings and the queens and everybody, they were executed on the guillotine. That knife which falls from top. Now imagine they were wearing very expensive clothes. Okay? When they were wearing very expensive clothes, and now that today the cloth is in the museum or something like that, or it is up for sale on Sotheby's or one of those websites, and you buy it and then you wear it for a party, dressed like that person, how does that sound to you? Madonna's clothes or Kim Kardashian's clothes and all, people buy them, no, on the online. Okay, so this is not a good thing. So all this is no, don't do that. All right. So the person who has committed this heinous act is a Brahmana. As per the scriptures, you are not allowed to do those actions. As per the Vedic norms, as per the karmic actions, you are not supposed to do those actions. And somebody has done this, and Arjuna says, I will bring that person's head. Will Arjuna also perform a wrong action then? Killing a Brahmana also is a wrong action, isn't it? And now do you understand why all the Pandavas go to hell? Do you understand? They have killed their own gurus and their elders also. As per the karmic debt, they are not supposed to do that. It's a very dangerous book. This book itself, the Mahabharata by itself is a very, very tricky story. You have to understand the depth of it. So now let us see what happens. Now Arjuna has very little understanding of this subject. Okay, so what is his best bet? Like what if I ask you something, now you have to find out something, where will you go? You will go to Google, or you will go to Chat GPT or one of those places, correct? No? So Arjuna is now going to go and meet his Google, his great boss. Shri Krishna, who has been guiding him. Remember, the Bhagavad Gita was already told by Shri Krishna, and Arjuna knows who Krishna is. Doesn't he know? Because already he has been given the darshan. The Virat Swarup darshan, as well as the four-armed darshan, as well as the normal two-armed darshan. So all this has been given to Arjuna. So Arjuna is now going to go to meet Shri Krishna. So let us do verse 17. Arjuna, who is guided by the infallible Lord as friend and driver, thus satisfied the lady by such statements. Then dressed in armor and armed himself with furious weapons, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashwatthama, the son of his martial teacher. Here is the first time where the mention is given of a martial teacher. Do you understand? People have read the Mahabharata many times, but they still do not understand that Dronacharya is their Rajguru. He is the one who teaches how politics, fighting the war and so many things are supposed to be done. So there are two gurus over here, actually three. So one guru's job is to teach all the martial activity. You will find this martial activity means how to fight a war, how to wield weapons, what weapons to use, how to do this. If you recollect, when we were doing our way of life, I also told you all that the gurus are many kinds. One guru is a person who teaches you how to rule the kingdom. That is like Chanakya. If you remember, Chanakya was a guru like that. And Confucius is another guru like that. Confucius is a person who taught the king how to rule the kingdom. Alright? So these are great masters. They are spiritual as well as they are material worldly masters. Parshuram is the highest name over there. Parshuram is a master par excellence. He is a Rajguru as well. He is himself the avatar, okay, of Mahavishnu, as you know very well. But he is the highest of the Gurus. And he has established many places across the western coast of India. So from Gujarat downwards till entire south and Andhra Pradesh on that side, the entire triangular belt is called the Parshuram Kshetra. Every king in this area was taught in the past by Parshuram. Even today, Parshuram exists in these places. The teaching comes from him alone. How this whole war can be fought and all those things. And that is the reason why Arjuna was taught his martial activity by his martial teacher, or the teacher who is responsible for making him a kingly person. Alright? So whom does he go to? He goes to his master's son who is responsible for this. Ashwatthama is that person, isn't it? Now remember, Ashwatthama is the son of Dronacharya. He has killed his 5 children using that very powerful weapon. He is not supposed to use that weapon. Please remember this. You are not supposed to use Brahmastras in all these things. Alright? So, here Arjuna is going in search of this person, and he readies himself up with all those powerful weapons that he has got, not only from Shiva but from other deities as well. Ashwatthama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjuna coming to him with great speed, fled in his chariot, panic-stricken, just to save his life, as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. So here Ashwatthama, who is riding his chariot, sees that, oh my God, Arjuna is coming after me. Arjuna is a very powerful warrior, remember that. Don't go by what you heard about him in the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, even the most powerful warrior is showing weakness. You understand, you may be the king of the land also, but whereas your sons and daughters' stories are concerned, you are going to become a weak person. Do you get the point? Right? So the weakness can be experienced even by the toughest of the persons on planet Earth. So if there is a very tough person, I can win this and I can do this, but that person has a chink in the armor. The chink in the armor is always the attachment to something. The attachment to his wife, his children, his father, his mother. Every human being has this weakness. If you are revering something in your life, if you love somebody, it is your own people, your own father and mother, your own husband and wife, your own children, your grandchildren. You are so much attached to them that you are going to be always deluded by Maya. It is attachment. The power of attachment is so strong. So now think about it. Arjuna was behaving like that. And now Ashwatthama, who sees Arjuna coming, is a very dangerous person just now, because he is provoked by the action. His attachment to his children and his wife is so strong that the anger comes in him. I want to kill the person who has done this. So he is going to meet Ashwatthama over there. And when he is going to meet Ashwatthama over there, Ashwatthama sees him from far and he says, I can't stand this person, I have to run away from here. And Ashwatthama runs away. Verse 19. When the son of the Brahmana, that is Ashwatthama, saw that his horses were tired, he considered that there is no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra. Now, when you are weak and when you are in a very, very tight situation, You cannot move from that place at that point in time. Like the president, he will have a small box with him with a red button in it, isn't it? So he presses that red button, nuclear weapon, doom, and he releases this weapon in the outer space. This weapon is a very dangerous weapon. And Ashwatthama is now cornered. And because he is cornered, he releases this weapon. Verse 20, since his life was in dangers, he touched water in sanctity and concentrated upon the chanting of the hymns of throwing this kind of a powerful weapon. It's not a nuclear weapon. Although he did not know how to withdraw such a weapon. There was no way in which Ashwatthama, once he releases the weapon, can he withdraw it. Think about it. When the two bombs were dropped on the two places, okay, can anybody go and withdraw that action? Can anybody say, now we will take the bombs back? No. And that is the reason why when you have nuclear weapons, when you have weapons of destruction with you, if you lose your mind, you can commit the biggest problem in this planet Earth. That means you are going to start a war which has no end. Understand this. It's a very, very dangerous situation. That is why the weapons going in wrong hands can be very detrimental. Don't you think so? If there are people in this world who are providing weapons to people, to countries which are not good, they don't know how to handle it, what is going to happen to them? They may use the same weapons on them, isn't it? Don't you remember the story? Shivji gives that Vardhan to that Rakshasa, saying that, okay, I am giving you this weapon wherein you can put your hand on anybody's head and that head will get crushed to, millions, smithereens. And this Rakshasa then runs after Shiva himself and says, yeah, come here, I want to test it out on you only. I will put my hand on top of your head. Don't you think so? So any country which is providing this kind of weapons, they have to be very, very sure, because that weapon can get misused on them only, isn't it? So they have to be very careful how things are done in this world. So here is a Brahmastra given to Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama is saying, I don't have a choice because I am going to get killed just now. And he releases this weapon. But there is a small problem over here. The problem is this. Ashwatthama cannot be killed. He is an eternal soul. Ashwatthama cannot be killed. He is an eternal soul. So even if Arjuna or whoever wants to come and kill him, they can't. Nobody can kill Ashwatthama. Nobody. But because nobody can kill him, he releases this weapon. So we move to the next verse. Thereupon, that is verse 21, thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger. So he began to address Lord Shri Krishna. Naturally, when such a powerful weapon is released, are there going to be casualties or no? 100%. If you are there also, you are going to get affected. Let us say there is a big city and a weapon is dropped on top of the city. Does the weapon identify good and the bad people? No. Does it say that this building is good, I will let this remain, but this building is bad, I will destroy it? When there is a war and when there is a problem in the world, children are getting killed, women are getting killed, everybody who is not even supposed to be connected to the war, are they getting killed or no? Have you not seen? These are the casualties of war. So a weapon of that size is being released. Naturally, everybody is going to get affected. And here, Arjuna is also affected. Remember, Arjuna is running after Ashwatthama. And the moment he releases the weapon, Arjuna himself is now scared. Oh my God, he has released this weapon. So let me run to the only one person on this planet Earth who can guide me to safety. Who is this person? It is Sri Krishna only. The only person who can grant you immunity in every problem in this world is Sri Krishna. So he says, I have to now go and meet Sri Krishna. So we have come to the end of verse 21. We will stop over here, and coming week we will start from verse 22 onwards.
Recording stopped.